Welcome to the Daily and the New Lessons. So today, I'm gonna present you about our introduction. My name is Farzan Ajay. So I'm gonna start the presentation. So, in 2019, a virus outbreak has affected 17 million people around the world. This virus is what has COVID-19. It has severely affected global economy around the world. This deadly virus has caused significant reduction in income, high rate of unemployment, massive declination in the transportation services, and also it affects our manufacturing industries. All the organizations around the world suffered the severe global economic status, even caused them to lay off their workers for good. One of the economic sectors that affected by this virus is the aviation sector. So basically our topic is gonna be talking about the aviation sector. So, on March 2020, 3.9% unemployment rate occurred in the nation. That's quite high. This fact is brought to you by the Department of Statistics, US. For the aviation sector, according to the Newspress measure, airline Berhad has offered voluntary unpaid leave to its 13,000 employees. As you can see here. This happened on last March. And even Astro One stated that the low-cost airline known as Aviation terminated the services. 107 pilots and even 15 engineers got in trouble. They have severely economic problem in their own organization. So that's it for my introduction. I'm gonna pass this.
Hello everyone, my name is Luis Ariel Conapin. My code is SC11048. First of all, I want to talk about the current macroeconomic problem, which is unemployment for the AirAsia Berhad and AirAsia X Berhad. The AirAsia Berhad and AirAsia X Berhad, which are the low-cost companies, airline, they have confirmed its retrenchment of 10% employees of their 24,000 employees in the past few months. It's like the companies want to fire 10% of their current employees in the past few months. This had confirmed to be in the report, like with the Harian and TV3, because this problem involved hundreds of its personnel. Their continued survival in an industry severely affected by the COVID-19 crisis. By the way, the announcement that made by AirAsia Berhad of CEO, this is known as Chief Executive Officer Riyad Asmat, had been briefed out with the staff of the airline. The announcement stated that low-cost carrier AirAsia Berhad will terminate all the staff service, which is 111 cabin crew or 1,900 crew members, 172 pilots, and 50 engineers in a bid to downsize its operation. This is because the company was extremely difficult, and that all measures to reduce the cost, monitor internal and external factors were inadequate. All of the talking or suggestion about the termination of the workforce was not only carried out by AirAsia Berhad, but in all divisions of the AirAsia Group. So the AirAsia said that the pay cut, the pay cut will help ensure it get right out this prolonged period of extremely low travel demand. It is also aims to help minimize the impact on its employees, especially those in junior position. Therefore, the airline also put in place a range of cost containment measures across all of its business operation. Furthermore, he also concurred with this kind of situation facing its difficulties in recovering in the near future. He also concurred with the government approach of not saving any airline companies, this one with any capital injection, but he also said that he will give any support in terms of borrowing for the critical sector that was needed. So these are the details of their problems in the AirAsia Berhad, which is unemployment. This kind of unemployment will destroy government's economy due to the COVID-19 crisis. That's all from me. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Jofan Aviation. Today I'll be presenting about theories for unemployment. So several theories have been made for the topic unemployment. The unemployment in the aviation sector right now can be defined as can actually occurs when there is a lack of job resulting from a downswing in a business cycle or recession. Okay, so the theories that I mentioned earlier include the cost of raw material. What can be seen with the cost of raw material when the cost is high, the amount of revenue business make really cannot cover the cost of expenses. As right now we are in pandemic, so less customer will be visiting the business, which will mean that less revenue is made, thus making the company run at a loss, which may lead to workers getting fired. Like right now in the aviation sector, they shall fire their worker due to lack of customer, due to the company has been getting less revenue from it. Also, another theory for this is the lack of demand. If the demand for goods and services from consumer decrease, when this occurs, company will also suffer from losses in revenue as the consumer had spent less with the addition of the amount of expenses in labor is still the same. So in this situation, the end result is still the same, whereas company will let off some of its worker for them to maintain their profit margin. Okay, and the last one is over labor. Over labor is actually almost the same as the other one. The amount of labor is high, but the amount of revenue is low, which, like in the graph, as you can see in the D1 is the initial demand. Let's go to D2. The demand has become low, thus making the company suffer losses if the wage rate is not equilibrium with the quantity of labor. Okay, so that's all from me for the
Hi, my name is Patrick Agustin Ratinin. So I would like to present about cases for others country. The country that I choose, which is United States and Africa. So for United States, this country have already told that more than 75,000 employees in this aviation sector will face job losses. So we're gonna go to the specific ones, which is Boeing Airlines. So for Boeing Airlines, nearly 13,000 Boeing employees, the majority which is in the US, will face job losses. This kind of reduction of the employees, this is the best method for this airline, since Boeing's already launched the plans last month to reduce its global workforce by 30,000 by 10%, which means about 60 jobs. They reduce their employees because they want to lower their cost in order to survive during the pandemic COVID-19. So from the amount 13,000 of employees, 6,670 were voluntary cuts, and another 5,520 were voluntary layoff in the US. For the second one is Aviation Airlines. Aviation Airlines has confirmed that they will further reduce the number of its employee, which amount the number of its employee by 1,150 after they complete the rescue plan, which amount of that plan is 1.2 billion. Early in this year, the well-known company had to cut more than 3,500 jobs out of 10,000 employees working under this company. The company have to do this kind of move. They had to reduce the amount of employees because they want to reduce the cost to be borne by this well-known company in an effort to survive the economic threat caused by the pandemic. In this case, Aviation Airlines, they want to save their cost. They want to limit their cost, limit their budget, because they want to survive during the period of this pandemic. They want to spend more toward their operating, like they want to reduce their the salary of employees. So next we move to Africa. This Africa is so good. Following the travel restriction to the COVID-19 pandemic, this affect the aviation sector in Africa. So the loss of 4.5 million jobs in Africa in the aviation industries in the Africa continent this year. The Air Transport Action Group has stated that out of 7.7 billion aviation related jobs in Africa, it is expected that about 4.5 million jobs in Africa will be lost in this year. The aviation sector also said that about 172,000 jobs in Africa are expected to disappear by the end of 2020. This kind of situation has affect a lot in economic in Africa. As the GDP will drop to 30 billion, 58% lower than the pre-pandemic level. So this is for Africa. So that's all.
Hello everyone, my name is Bartholomew Charles. Today I'm going to present on the impact of unemployment from aviation sector. Without wasting our time, I will start presenting. As we know, since the first quarter of 2020, there's a lot of industries facing difficulties in maintaining their business stability due to the pandemic. Most employers starting to suffer losses instead of gaining profit, especially from the aviation sector. This can be seen when many airline companies such as Malaysia Airlines, AirAsia starting to lay off their workers as they are not able to pay their salary. So the first impact of unemployment is the rise of social problems. When the people are not employed or being laid off, they are not earning money in order to meet their financial obligation. Unemployment can hit an individual really bad, as it will cause them to lose their assets, such as homes, cars, and other belongings. Even worse, such situation will lead to illness and mental stress. This mental stress can lead to death. There was a suicide case reported last few months, I think the last August, where a pilot jumping off from a condominium after losing his job because he unable to suffer from the pressure of the problems anymore. Next, the unemployment can also lead to a decrease in purchasing power of a consumer. The consumer is, for example, we as a consumer, we go to the groceries to buy any goods, basic needs. This will affect the country economy income. When purchasing power decreases, it means people are spending lower than usual. The income of the business will also be affected, as they are not gaining as much profit as before, because their sale of goods and services are not really good like before the pandemic. When the consumption rate is lower, the excess of supply will occur. This happens when the demand of goods from the consumer is lower than the supply. Thus, market inefficiency will occur and there will be a wastage of resources. Besides, high unemployment rate can cause civil unrest and political problems in our country. During this pandemic, many people, especially from the lower income, struggling to survive as the income are really bad affected. Those who are affected seeking for a government aid in order to survive in this difficult situation. Even though the government, we know that the government is providing a lot of welfare before, it is still not enough for them to survive for a very long period. For example, we suffering from this pandemic since early March, first quarter of 2020. As government are lacking out of funds to give more welfare the people become dissatisfied by the service of the government, and this will cause severe unrest. Lastly, unemployment can cause underemployment. Underemployment means workers take on jobs that are below their skill levels. For example, a person who was once a pilot in an airline company and now he is working as a food deliverer after being laid out. This means their current job didn't fully use their professional skills and knowledge. This is called underemployment. I think that's all from me. Thank you.
Hello everyone. So right now I'll be presenting to you the measures to control unemployment. As you can see, there are three measures that can be taken to control unemployment, which are expansionary monetary policy, expansionary fiscal policy, and direct control measure. Okay, the expansionary monetary policy. This is to boost the aggregate demand and to increase the money supply of a country. One of the steps in doing so is to reduce the interest rate. Another one is where the central bank will also reduce the reserve requirement, and the other one is where the central bank will purchase securities or short-term bond. Okay, so the second one is the expansionary fiscal policy. So this is where the government will expand demand supply in the economy using budgetary tools or to either increase spending or cut tax, both of which provide consumer and businesses with more money to spend. For the last one, the direct control measures, okay, this one is actually direct control measures where you take measures like directly, and one of the example is a person should at least learn another skill or two which is not related to the career. This is to just in case if a situation like this pandemic happen where they lost their job, at least if they learn how to cook, they can start a food business, or they could also learn how to advertise so that they can actually do a dropship or something like that. Also, for the university student, the university could teach them how to learn entrepreneurship, so that when they graduate, some of them graduate this year during this pandemic, most of them did not find a job. So if they learn how to become an entrepreneur, they actually can start a business with the knowledge that they have been learned in university, to actually give them some experience on work life. So that's all that I can say about the measures to control unemployment. Thank you.
And lastly, for the conclusion, I was going to present the conclusion for this. We as the citizen of Malaysia are supposed to explore some different sectors to go on with this COVID. Our economic sectors actually suffers a lot, and we need to explore some economic sector to survive. For example, the youngsters can explore this live streaming sector, a new sector that rapidly bloomed during COVID-19. So during COVID-19, there are more and more streamers going live to gain money. Thus, this live streaming sector is basically stream games or advertise their product. This is a new way to gain your own. So one of the sector that we can basically explore is the streaming sector for youngsters. Another example for this is the courier service of For example, the foodpanda, the Grab food. This is also one of the booming economic sector that we enjoy to survive during this COVID. That's all we have. Yes, thank you very much.